Thank you. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I'm very happy to be here today. As a matter of fact, I can see also out there in the faces of everyone that you also are very happy. Very, very happy. As a matter of fact, I think that you are as happy as LeBron James is leaving Cleveland. Talking about LeBron James, are we covering that on ESPN today? I hope so. But anyway, it is really wonderful to be here today, and I'm very proud to be here because I'm very proud of each one of you. The day you joined the state's premier police force, and you committed yourself to the safety and protection of the people of the great state of California. Now, few are called to do what you're about to do and walk the path that you're about to walk. And on behalf of the state's 38 million residents, I thank you for accepting this call to serve. You all are warriors. You all are warriors, pledging today to champion the innocent and to safeguard the lives of our good citizens. Can we turn that down a little bit? Thank you. The CHP has been created in 1929 so that California's laws could be uniformly enforced all across the state of California. The idea was very simple. No more local police setting up speed traps to drive up the revenues. But the job that you're about to do has grown since then, has expanded. Now you're going into all kinds of different challenges, calming down riots, responding to disasters, fighting gangs, and saving lives at accident scenes, and the list goes on and on. Now, I have played an action hero many times in my movies, as you know, but you are true action heroes. Let's give you a big hand to the great, great action that you're creating. Now, you will put your life on the line on our behalf, and I admire your selflessness and your sacrifice and your strength. You have just conquered 27 grueling weeks in an intense program that has made you among the most highly trained cadets in the world. After thousands of hours of push-ups, of thousands of chin-ups, the crunches, you have developed muscles, and I can see through the uniform. All the deltoids and the abs and the pecs popping out. I can see it all. And you've crawled, and you've jumped, and you've climbed, and of course, run, run, run. And it isn't just the physical training that amazes me so much that you have accomplished, but also you became expert marksmen. And you've all become professional drivers capable of speeds and driving feats that will make any Hollywood stuntman jealous. You have learned conversational Spanish. Maybe I should come here and learn English, but anyway, that's besides the point. And SWAT duties, investigative techniques, how to testify in court, and how to command a scene in chaos. I mean, I just get exhausted talking about all the training that you've done. But there's one thing that you can't train for, and that is character, that is passion. That comes from within. You were born with that. It will come natural to you to take risks in your new career. And the dangers that you will face will be all too real. Those who are ready to sacrifice themselves in the service of our community are my personal heroes. You are my heroes. Now, I know a little bit about law enforcement simply because my father was a police officer. And I would watch him put on his uniform every day. I remember it very well. As a matter of fact, he made me always shine his belt buckle and polish his shoes every morning. That part I hated, I have to admit it. But I loved watching him put on his uniform. As a matter of fact, he always let me put on his jacket first before he put it on. I remember I was so little, the jacket went all the way down to the floor. He always wanted me to be a police officer just like him. And I watched him put his shield on his chest and walk proudly out of the door. And that gave me a deep respect for our law enforcement officers and also for their families. Also for their families, because I understand what it is like to say goodbye to your loved one each and every day and wonder if this is the day that they do not come home. Is this the day where there will be a knock on my door and our family will change forever? Is this the last pat on the head, or the last hug, or the last kiss? Your families will live with that question every day. This is why I want to mention the families, because you will sacrifice and they will serve too. So let's give a big hand to the families out there for their great partnership. Now, unfortunately, several families of our CHP officers are in tremendous pain right now. As you all know, this has been a devastating time for California's law enforcement family. Since May, we have lost 5 CHP officers in the line of duty. Their death leaves a void that can never be filled. There simply is no words adequate enough to take away the pain that their loved ones will carry with them each day forward. Their wives, their children, their parents, their brothers, their sisters, their friends, their fellow officers, and the list goes on and on. Over the last week, I've traveled to these officers' funerals, and I've handed their wives flags that have flown over the state's capital in memory of each of these officers. And I've prayed with their families, held their children, and thanked their parents for raising heroes at their kitchen tables. I hope that there is some small comfort in the undying gratitude that comes from me and from my wife Maria and the people of the great state of California, whom those officers died serving. As a matter of fact, I would just like to tell you a little bit about each of these fallen heroes, if you don't mind, because they're true heroes. I mean, there was Officer Justin McRory of Victorville. Justin was 28 years old, and I know he loved his job. His dad, Bob, was a CHP lieutenant. So you can imagine the conversations that they had, talking about law enforcement and about catching the bad guys and rescuing drivers in trouble. Or on Tuesday, I met Justin's 3 children and gave them each a teddy bear. And I also gave one to his wife, Kelly, who is 8 months pregnant with their 4th child, the girl named Casey. Officer Brad Oswald of Atascadero. Brad's buddies call him the most well-read guy that they've ever met. Not an interesting, fascinating guy. He would talk just about anything. He was so well-read that he could talk about the stock market and about travel, about cigars, which is, of course, one of my favorite conversations, and all salsa dancing and philosophy, and the list goes on and on. And he also saw beauty in everything, especially in animals. His friends were telling at the funeral stories about them coming over to the house, and there they would be greeted, all of a sudden in the kitchen, by a pig. And then they go to the living room, they would be greeted by a dog, and then by a deer. And all kinds of animals were roaming around inside the house, relaxing in the house with Brad and with his wife, Melena. And then there's Officer Thomas Coleman of Fontana. Tom was a proud Marine, then an embassy guard in Italy, and then he really made a big move up and became a CHP officer. He loved motorcycles, and he became a CHP motor officer. But Tom's greatest dream was to be a father. And he made that dream come true with his wife, Jamie. And then Officer Dan Benavides of Indio. Danny was a CHP pilot. He was extremely proud of taking criminals off the streets. He was serious about his job, but he also loved making people laugh and was a big practical joker. If you knew him, then you were his friend and a target of his jokes. People say they never saw Danny without a smile. He was very devoted to his wife Megan, who is here with us today, and his daughter Madeline. Let's give them a big hand. They're here today with us. Then there's Officer Phil Ortiz of Valencia. Phil joined the CHP in 1982, and he was an incredibly dedicated man, incredibly dedicated to the people of his community. As a matter of fact, he was so dedicated that one time he drove on his motorcycle, and he was stung by a bee right on his face. But he didn't stop, he didn't pull over. he just pulled the sting out and continued on with his swollen face, kept on working the rest of his shift. That's how dedicated he was. Phil leaves behind his wife, Jessica, and a large, close, extended family. You see, each of those heroes truly lived the words of the oath each of you are about to take. They laid down their lives rather than swerve from the path of duty. That integrity and sense of duty, of course, is in the heart of every CHP officer. And I can tell you that your commissioner, Joe Farrell, models those characteristics every day, and especially in the recent weeks. I've watched him rush to comfort the families of these fallen officers, speak in their funerals with great passion, and keep our CHP force strong all through these tragedies. I am so proud that we in California have such great commissioner. He's fighting for you, and he's fighting for your safety. Let's give him a big, big hand. And I want you to know that when you leave here today to go out there on the front lines, that you have every resource that I could give you. Because I love the CHP. When I became governor, one of the first things that I did was to begin building up the highway patrol. I increased the CHP road patrol and funded new positions to create the largest staffing increase in 4 decades. I know that more and more miles are being traveled on our California roads. And there's more vehicles that are registered. As a matter of fact, there's 33 million vehicles registered in California. And of course, our state has more licensed drivers than any other state. So you have my support. And since your law enforcement family protects my family, that makes us all family. That makes us all family. I honor each of you, your commitment, I honor your courage, I honor your conviction. So thank you, and the people of California, thank you. So congratulations on your graduation day. Be safe and welcome to the California Highway Patrol. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Schwarzenegger. Cadets, give him one. Give him one. That's for you, sir.